This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight, the Cardinals return home. 19 games remain in the regular season, 13 of which are right here at Busch Stadium. It's game number one, the Pittsburgh Pirates and the St. Louis Cardinals. And welcome to Cardinals baseball. That's Rick Horton. Jim Hayes is here. I'm Dan McLaughlin. One of the stories, the Cardinals return home. The other big story, the return of Adam Wainwright.
It's a huge story. Everybody excited about Wainwright taking the mound again. The veteran right-hander, 37 years old, 147 career victories as a Cardinal, making his first start since the 13th of May. No one quite knows, Dan, what we're going to see tonight, but you know Wainwright has done everything he could do to prepare.
That's on the mound. How about at the plate? And it's Marcell Ozuna. What a road trip for him. Our Kubota Power Stats, 10 for 26. I love the 5 home runs.
Oh, I love it. And I think he's been a lot looser at the plate, more comfortable, more balanced since coming back from the disabled list.
So it's the return of Adam Wainwright to the mound tonight for St. Louis. Carlos in the back end of games. The Pirates are here. The Pirates, the Cardinals, and baseball coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. By Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. And by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Pick your power, fuel, or battery with Steel. Search STIHL. Rally Squirrel 2.0 yesterday in Detroit. The Cardinals, after that squirrel made an appearance, the offense came alive. 5 runs in 3 innings as the Redbirds salvaged a game against the Detroit Tigers. It was a 3-3 road trip, a win yesterday, and the Cardinals tonight trying to make it 2 wins in a row. Adam Wainwright, the big story heading into tonight. Old Uncle Charlie is back, and so are we in St. Louis. Trevor Williams for the Pirates. He's been pitching very well. The Pirates, the Cardinals, baseball coming up. To go to get ready for his start and back in the rotation for the Cardinals. And it was about 10 after, so 4 or 5 minutes ago he walked in from the bullpen, Rick Horton, and this place was loud, a standing ovation for him.
It was really a nice moment. I know Adam was thankful for it. A lot of the fans here on their feet, just happy to have him back. You know, he ran out on the field, Dan, like a kid who knew it was time for recess. But I think that's part of who Adam Wainwright is. Just like that kid in 4th grade that thinks it's time to play. For Adam Wainwright, once again, it's time to play.
Season numbers for Wainwright. We talked about it in the open. Hasn't pitched in a long time in a major league game, but no runs allowed in his rehab assignments, where it began as a reliever, the idea was, and then it turned into, hey, you could start, and here he is.
And the Hyundai pitch arsenal, for those who may have forgotten about Adam Wainwright, the curveball and the slider or cutter, very important to him. And I am going to be focused, Dan, on his fastball. Does it have life to it, and does he have command to it? If he does, the breaking pitches will be better.
That's fouled back 91 miles an hour. He had been hovering right around 89, 91 consistently through 4 or 5 innings of his rehab assignments. And the 0-1 pitch fouled back, 0-2.
By the way, in those rehab assignments in AAA, they actually bring bats to the plate too, and those guys are professionals, and they've been signed to contracts, and they're future big leaguers. So pretty impressive what he did.
0-2 pitch, and welcome back. 3 pitches. A strikeout for Adam Wainwright.
Well, he showed us his entire pitch arsenal. Threw the fastball, then a cutter, then finished him off with good old Uncle Charlie.
Here's Starling Marte batting .278, 18 home runs. And he's driven in 64. No Gregory Polanco from here on out for the Pirates. His season is done with a knee and shoulder injury. And there's the first ball of the night. That was strikeout 1,599. Trails only Bob Gibson in Cardinals history. 1 ball and 1 strike. 147 wins, 5th most in club history.
The only downside of him coming back is that means he won't come up in the booth with us again for a while.
It was fun.
It was great.
Oh, Uncle Charlie, nice. 1-2. And the 1-2 pitch, line foul.
The question I had about fastballs with life, I'm seeing life on his fastball. That pitch was probably more the plate than he wanted, but it had hop to it at 92. And the velocity is one thing, Dan, but it's got to have some late, sharp movement to a spot, and that appears to be good in the early going.
Gets him to reach, broken bat, gloved by DeYoung, 2 away. Take a look at Clint Hurdle's lineup with Frazier and Marte at the top, and then the switch hitting Josh Bell. He's homered in 2 straight. Francisco Cervelli, Corey Dickerson, Josh Harrison, Colin Moran, Jordy Mercer, and the pitcher batting 9th, Trevor Williams.
And no Gregory Polanco in the lineup. He is done for the rest of the year, as you mentioned. And what an awful slide moment that was for him. He got hurt in multiple places, and Clint Hurdle, I know, is disappointed because Polanco was his best player the last 2 weeks. He's been playing hard and kind of showing the way, but just a bad slide, and him being out definitely changes this lineup.
There's Josh Bell. He's homered in consecutive games after posting no runs batted in his prior 19 games. Home runs have been down this year, a total of 10. And the 1-0 pitch, fouled back, 1-1.
Greg Brown told me that when he was in the minor leagues, his teammates called him Tinkerbell. And he's a pretty big guy to call Tinkerbell, if you ask me, but they called him because he would tinker with his swing every day. He would change his stance. He'd change. Clint Hurdle has challenged him to stick with something and do it for 20 games. And if it doesn't work, do it for 20 more games.
So stick with something.
And it's been a positive for him. A couple of home runs you mentioned lately, and they've been from the left side. He's got good power from the left side.
1-2 the count. Wainwright 17 scoreless innings in 6 starts on his minor league rehab assignment, and back in the big leagues, and he's gotten the first 2, and it's 2-2.
I am so interested in you going up to him tomorrow and calling him Tinkerbell.
Not a chance. I'll leave that to you.
How about Jim Hayes? Can we agree on that?
Absolutely.
There we go. Now we're in agreement.
And Jim would probably do it. He'd go up to him and he'd say Tinkerbell, and then he'd run away, and I wouldn't blame him. First start since May 13th. Missed nearly 4 months. Inflammation in his pitching elbow. And now at 2-2. Full count. Wainwright in those 17 scoreless innings struck out 23, walked only 4 in those outings.
His cutter's a little flat, the ones he's thrown in this inning, but he's gotten some strikes with it. Wants to get a little bit more downward tilt on it.
This crowd into it. And Bell into that pitch with a base hit into right, cut off by Martinez. And Josh Bell with a 2-out single into right field. Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers around the horn. Ozuna, Bader, and Martinez in the outfield. On the infield, Carpenter, DeYoung, Wong, and Adams, and Carson Kelly behind the plate. Keep an eye on the scoreboard, but the Reds lead the Dodgers 7-3. That's in the top of 5 in Cincy. And the Dodgers a game back of St. Louis in the wild card. Milwaukee and Chicago 1-0 Milwaukee already in the bottom of the first.
Chance for St. Louis with Milwaukee and Chicago playing each other. Somebody's got to lose those games. So next 3 days you have an opportunity to pick up ground on somebody.
There's that late movement to Cervelli. Looks at strike one. Hitting .341 against Cardinals pitching this season. Cervelli has been a tough out for the Cardinals in 2018. And the curveball lifted out to center. Bader under it. Wainwright back in the big leagues in a scoreless inning. In his career against Trevor Williams. Cardinals lineup presented by Buick. Carpenter at the top, and then Jose Martinez and Matt Adams. Marcelo Zuna, Paul DeYoung, Colton Wong, Harrison Bader, Carson Kelly. Couple of hits in the ball game yesterday, and the pitcher Adam Wainwright. Matt Carpenter, part of our speaker series tomorrow here at the ballpark. If you want a ticket, by the way, Ricky, I will maybe comp you. If not, you could just go to cardinals.com/speaker series, and it's a lunchtime program. It should be a lot of fun, and still a few select tickets available.
I got to tell you, being maybe comped is the best offer I've had all day. That's really sweet of you, Dave.
And it's about 80-20 going the other way. Sorry.
That's what I figured.
Hyundai pitch arsenal there on Trevor Williams.
Maybe comp you.
Looking forward to that. Always fun. Speaker series, and it features Matt Carpenter tomorrow. Well, this guy has been outstanding since the All-Star break with a .72 ERA.
Really historic what he's done in his last 8 starts. Been very, very good. 18+ innings without giving up a run, and Cardinals have seen him a ton this year. It's his 5th start. Actually, his 6th start against the Cardinals this year. He's 2-2. Lifetime, not very good numbers, but this year, especially lately, he's been good.
The second half, a look at our GMC leaderboard, the .72. We talked so much about Jake Arrieta when he was with the Cubs in 15, and we said this guy's unhittable. Well, Trevor Williams has been better here in the second half of this 2018 stretch run.
Be a pretty good rotation there. I think you could win some games with those 5 guys. Especially that R. Clemens guy.
He's pretty darn good. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Carpenter. 2-2. Cardinals have struggled here recently. They've dropped 5 of their last 8, but all the games have been nail biters. Could have gone either way. Cardinals a 5 spot in the 7th inning. Yesterday's win in Detroit. After a brief delay with a squirrel on the field. Mike Schultz saying that Ernie Moore, who outstanding equipment man of the Cardinals, would pack up that squirrel and bring him to St. Louis.
I was looking for him on the charter.
Why not?
I'm going to say the squirrel looks familiar to me. Feel like I've met him somewhere.
Because, you know, no squirrel looks alike. I mean, they're all so different.
Yeah. Well, I've got a lot in my backyard. I know the difference, and I feel like that squirrel was a unique, kind of special guy who just made a road trip.
And it's 3-2. I mentioned that in 2011. There's 2 different ways to look at it. Charlie Manuel said, "I'd like to shoot that squirrel," and my assumption was that Tony La Russa said, "I'd like to hug it."
Right. I'm not sure I'd hug a squirrel, frankly, but that was a big part of that season, wasn't it?
Was a lot of fun.
Let's take a look, Dan, at our Toyota keys to the game. The Cardinals need to do a little home cooking with 13 of the remaining 19 games here at home. You mentioned that earlier, a chance for the Cardinals to do what they've done very well under Mike Schultz, and that's win at home. Well, they've won everywhere under him, frankly. He's done such a good job, but especially winning the first game of series here at Busch Stadium.
Here's Jose Martinez. He struck out in 15 of his last 32 at bats.
More strikeouts than anybody in baseball in September for a guy, Dan, that in the first 2 months of the season was in our top 10 list that we would get every day for hardest batter to strike out in the National League. It's been odd.
Very good numbers here at home, at .321 average. 9 for 19. He's driven in 5 in his last 5 against Pittsburgh. We'll see if he can't get back on track against Trevor Williams tonight. The final 3 starting tonight between the Cardinals and the Pirates. Then the Dodgers will be here Thursday, 4-game series, and that should be a lot of fun. Those 4 games. 3-2.
Well, we had hoped for early in this season meaningful September games with the idea of playing towards meaningful October games, and we got the September part, and I'm not sure many people would have said in May and June that was much of a possibility.
Back-to-back strikeouts. Brings in Matt Adams. Adams a couple of home runs in 1 game against Washington. And I said at the time, maybe that relaxes him. You feel more part of the team, which is the big thing he's talked about. He goes the other way and lines it to third. And the catch is made by Colin Moran. So the Cardinals go 1-2-3. Adam Wainwright back out for inning number 2. Lewis, more on that. Let's check in with Jim.
Dan, the support that Waino has gotten from his teammates speaks volumes about a guy who maintained a huge presence in the clubhouse, even while dealing with a litany of his own health-related issues. Jack Flaherty told me even when he was home watching TV, he was always reaching out. He would tell us he noted something with our delivery. He would always text some encouragement. He was always trying to help the younger guys. He's had our back all year. Now we've got his back. Miles Michael has told me, as far as this team goes, he's our leader. Everyone is excited to see him go out and do what he loves. We're on cloud nine. Dan, a lot of genuine love for Waino in that clubhouse.
Yeah, he's been such a good teammate for so many and a fan favorite for so many years. You can feel the entire stadium, outside of those wearing that Pirates uniform, really pulling for Adam Wainwright. You get that sense too?
Yeah, I'm not so sure people in the Pirates jerseys aren't at least pulling for him generally. Not today, but the story is compelling to anybody that plays when somebody comes back and just works as hard as he's worked to get this chance again to contribute in September baseball. I think there's a piece of everybody in this ballpark that's happy about that.
1,600 strikeouts now for Adam Wainwright. Number 1,600 acknowledged now on the video board here at the ballpark.
Danny, it's as if that's what the fans wanted to do. You could have put on the board that's the 94,362nd pitch he's thrown. They would have stood up and cheered for that. And everybody just wanting Wainwright to succeed. And he admitted to us, sitting right between us not long ago, he wasn't sure what would happen when he came back at this level. He hoped, but he said, I can't guarantee anything, but I know I'm going to work and be ready for the moment as best I can.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Harrison. I'll be honest with you, Ricky, when I saw him walk off the mound in his last start against San Diego, I thought at the time that may be the last time we see Adam Wainwright. Now he may go out in September, and you know, you could figure out a way to have the fans acknowledge him. Throw that out the window. I mean, his stuff right now, and who knows how it's going to play out,
right.
But right now his stuff will play.
It's a good start. There's no question about it. It's a competitive. I mean, he's acting like he belongs here and pitching like he does.
And in that start against San Diego, remember, it was getting progressively worse in terms of velocity. By the end of it, he was around 82, 83 miles an hour, trying different arm angles. It's hard to watch. There's another one. Back-to-back strikeouts. And the body language looks like vintage Adam Wainwright.
Good cutter. That's the better cutter. That's a better tilt. A little more downward. Might even call that a slider, cutter, slider. It's in between, but it's got downward tilt to it. It's not flat. And that's why he got the strikeout. Bob Gibson, here I come. How many strikeouts do you need to catch him, Danny?
Few. We're going to be here for a while. Well over 3,000 for Bob Gibson.
So Wainwright might have to pitch into his late 40s, early 50s.
Yes. So I think, Bob, your strikeout record is safe. There's a ground ball, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well,
Colin Moran at the plate, and with that, Carpenter, the third baseman, shifting over to the right side.
You know, I appreciate what you said, and just an honest thought about Waino. It's like, well, maybe this is it. And I think a lot of people would have thought, well, maybe. But, you know, the kicker that we would always say, Dan, is with Adam Wainwright, I wouldn't bet against him. Doesn't look good, but he's Adam Wainwright.
I said that today, talking with some people, and they said, what do you think? And I said, I don't bet against him. We'll find out tonight. And so far, a good start. The 2-1 pitch. And that's launched into right center. Pretty well hit. Moran went down to get it, and it's gone. It's 1-0 Pirates. Colin Moran with home run number 9. And it's 1-0 Pittsburgh.
The pitch looked down and in to me. Believe it was a cutter. We'll watch it on the replay. He tried to go inside and he just left it out over the plate more than he wanted. And that's the problem, and that's the result. Lefties love that ball down and middle in. Just didn't quite get the spot he wanted.
And the 0-1 pitch now to Jordy Mercer. 0-2. Up and in. And the 1-2 pitch. Curveball. Circled by DeYoung, and he got him. Nice play. Home run hit by Colin Moran, his 9th of the year. 1-0 midway through 2. Make it 1-0 Pittsburgh, and Archaea drive to success.
Mike Schilt been very successful, particularly here at Busch Stadium. Since the 15th of July, the Cardinals are 14-7 here, and the number that stands out to me, Dan, 6-0 in the first game of series. And the Cardinals would love to get this homestand started off on the right foot.
Here's Marcell Ozuna. Said it yesterday with Tim McCarver. Seems to be the right move to have put Ozuna on the DL. He has responded.
Well, my thought is whatever the shot is that he took, others might stand in line to get one.
Man, 5-game hitting streak with 5 home runs. Not to get too far ahead, but you think about next year and a full off season to recover going into a free agency year. As Ozuna hits it out to right, the point being all those factors come into play when you think about Ozuna and a highly motivated player. Williams has gotten the first 4.
Of course, every player ought to be motivated every day when you come to the ballpark. I think about that sign that they have up at the ballpark at PNC that Roberto Clemente said that. Essentially, kids are coming out, maybe the only game they come to all year, and they're going to watch me play. I want to make sure they understand how to play the game the right way because I'm wearing a Pirate uniform. That's his comment. And I think that rings very loud and true.
Just pulled to Young at the plate. We just celebrated Roberto Clemente Day around Major League Baseball, and there are some that believe number 21 should be retired across Major League Baseball. I'd be all for it.
Yeah.
Here's a 1-1. I think anytime you retire a number, you hope the next generation and young fans would do the research to find out, why is number 21 retired? Why is Jackie Robinson's number retired? What's the significance? And to me, that's why you would do it. And to honor the man and his family, obviously. It's fouled back.
Well, we understand that not everybody loves history. I mean, I do, and you do. I mean, we just love reading about it, love understanding history, so you know where you are and where you're going. I think that kind of goes together. But in baseball, history is so intertwined with what the game is, more so in my mind than any sport we have in our country. People remember numbers, names, years, World Series. I mean, it's just part of the fabric of fandom in the United States.
Lou Brock, by the way, this date in baseball history, September 10th, 1974. Speaking of greatness, as DeYoung looks at a ball. Stolen base number 104 and 105. He would finish with 118 on the season, and that would break Maury Will's 12-year-old single season stolen base record. So he finished up with 118. Here's a 2-2. You compare the numbers to today. Baseball, as you talked about, Rick, it's about numbers and comparing. And obviously the game has changed, but the leader in all of baseball in steals this year has 37. That's Trey Turner, compared to the 118 that Lou Brock wound up with in that historic season.
If you ask Trey Turner, he would say, you know, that was hard to do, get those 37.
The strikeout of DeYoung, and that's 3 for Williams. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Dickerson, Marte, and Frazier in the outfield. Along the infield, Moran, Mercer, Harrison, and Bell, and Francisco Cervelli is behind the plate. It's also this date, 1963. I love this one. Stan the Man, 42 years old. He was a grandfather, and he was the first grandfather to hit a home run in a big league game. His grandson had been born earlier in the day.
How about that?
It's awesome. Two balls and no strikes. Colton Wong. And Wong hits it down the right field line. Hooking and foul. How about his plays over the weekend in Detroit?
Oh.
Game savers defensively.
Play he made ranging to his left, saving 2 runs, saving the game that the Cardinals ultimately lost anyway. But considering the time of game and the degree of difficulty of the play, extraordinary.
Two-one pitch to Colton Wong. And a ground ball hit to second. 6 up and 6 down. It'll be Williams, Frazier, Marte coming up against Adam Wainwright. and older can help honor the 90-year anniversary of the 1928 season. Take home a one-of-a-kind replica jersey featuring pinstripes and a throwback Cardinals logo, presented by Old Dominion Freight Line. September 14th. That's this Friday. Dodgers in town. Cardinals.com/promotions. One ball and one strike. I know this may be a tough question to answer, but I'm thinking along maybe with some of the fans. What can you reasonably expect to get out of Adam Wainwright tonight?
Well, it's a question I asked Mike Schilt right before batting practice, and he said, look, he's been throwing 90 pitches. He got up to 90 pitches, so we don't have a limit on him. So we're just going to have to go by what we see. And if we see that the stuff is diminishing, then that's it. And I don't think he had a good answer to it in terms of, well, 70 pitches or 5 innings or 6 innings or 80 pitches or 90 pitches. I just think it's uncharted territory. He did say that the bullpen is fully rested to back him up with some guys that are used to going long, Tyson Ross and Luke Weaver, to name a couple. And so it's not that they're, you know, stretching, waiting to help him out right now, but they're available if needed.
So hot man at the plate. Adam Frazier, 8 for his last 18, and he hits it out to right. Martinez over and makes the catch. Williams back to the bag at first. Well, yesterday it was the rally squirrel, and as Ricky said, similar to what he remembered from 2011.
I think they're identical, and I've got some proof. Look, they run the same way. They've got the same kind of gait. It's got the same little push off and movement forward. Now, you might say one looks a little grayer than the other one, but understand that it's a passage of time. We all get a little grayer as we get older, and I just think it's pretty clear from that video that the squirrel from 2011 found his way somehow to the Motor City. And you're not buying it.
I'm all in. Totally. I'll just let you do all the explaining, but I'm in.
Well, good. Nice to have backing. I appreciate that.
Now I'm gonna help you out on this.
Yes.
One was in HD, the other was not. So if they both were in HD, you'd see extreme similarities. Bader back at the wall, and it's gone. It's a 2-run homer hit by Marte, his 19th to make it 3-0.
Marte has been such a Cardinal killer, hasn't he? He's
got a walk-off earlier this year against the Cardinals.
Really good player. Got that pitch middle. Again, a location problem for Wainwright. And, you know, the bigger problem of the two is the fact that Williams was able to get aboard in front of him. Not being able to get the pitcher out, I think, has made this inning sting a little bit more.
I was going to say that if you asked Wainwright about it, you say, hey, you tip your cap to Marte, made a bad pitch. But the one I want back is the single by Williams. Little flare out to center and a base hit for Josh Bell. Third hit in the inning, and Bell is 2 for 2. I think your answer to my question is spot on. And if you went to Wainwright, Mike Schilt, Mike Maddox, Mike Gersh, you name it, anybody around here, what can we expect tonight? Don't really know. You know, as the game goes and progresses, second time through a lineup, you probably get a better idea.
Well, one indication that I know is not lost on Mike Maddox and Mike Schilt right now is the fact that the fastball has gone from 92 to 89 in just a couple of innings, and perhaps by design, maybe Adams trying to throw more of a sinker. But I'd say, you know, the velocity's off a tick from where he was. Of course, he's probably pretty amped up for that first inning too.
1-0 the count on Francisco Cervelli. Fly to center, first time up.
I think people would be surprised to know that Adam Wainwright's average velocity of his fastball wasn't really much different than 90.5, 91 when he was winning 20 games.
Exactly.
He was a 95 guy when he threw out of the bullpen when he first came up at times, but more 91 as a full-time starter.
Top speed by inning, 92 in the first, 91 in the second, and he has hit 90 here in the third. Cervelli is grounded into 6 double plays. The 2-1 pitch instead of check on Bell. Cardinals have won 9 of the 16 meetings between these two teams. Now time called as Wainwright and Kelly trying to get on the same page.
Thought of something else about Waino's start today. There was a time where it was a novel idea, and then it became a necessity. With Waka being out, and he was announced today he's out for the rest of the year. The ab situation just has not responded. So there were other people maybe in front of Wainwright as potential starters to fill in, and then he's just kind of been jumped to the front of the line right now.
I think if you had a healthy Michael Waka, Cardinals were comfortable with him in the rotation, was having a very good year, and that Adam would go to the bullpen.
I think that's right.
Base hit into left and a pitch up. 3 hits in a row and 4 this inning. And I would think the Cardinals and Mike Maddox want to have a visit here.
Yeah, the last 2 breaking pitches for Wainwright have just hung. I mean, that's hanging right in the middle of the plate. That's not the sharp breaking ball that we saw in the first inning. And Adam's very aware of that. You can see that from the mound. You can tell that the break is not where you want it to be. And you know, the best thing he can do right now is just take a breather.
Tough spot here for Mike Schilt. I mean, you got a guy that you love. He's been a warrior for you. He's trying to come back, but you need to win. You got 19 games, 19 including tonight. So you got to think about when and if you take out Adam Wainwright to keep the game somewhat close.
Well, you can love him and take him out. I'm not saying that's easy, but if you're going to be a big league manager,
tough decisions.
It has to be done.
So here's Corey Dickerson in one of the bigger at bats for Wainwright of the night. Dickerson struck out back in the second inning. And a curveball taken low. And
so, Dan, when we talk about the curveball hanging, what's the difference? This is a curveball that's sharp and it gets to the bottom of the zone with late break. And a hanging curveball seems to just sit at the top of the zone. That's about belt high. So when we say hanging, many fans we know understand that, some may not. That's what a hanging curveball is.
Tyson Ross has gotten up and starts to throw. 2 balls and no strikes. Runners at first and second. The 2-0 pitch. 2-1.
We've got an important, Dan, 6 innings ahead of us here. Maybe more, who knows, but my thoughts also go to 4 or 5 days from now. Do you say this was maybe, if Adam can't get it back on track here, this was just a bad day against a team that hits him regularly, or did we see enough to say that this is the right path?
Lined over to Young and into center field. Bader racing over. A run will score to make it 4-0. And Bell scores the 4th run. That's now 4 hits in a row, 5 in the inning. And the batter will be Josh Harrison.
Hi, Josh.
Well, I think you go away with saying this. The first inning, sharp. And
Right.
it's progressively gotten worse, obviously. Second time through a lineup. We talked about dip in velocity, but we did see enough early on that could help. Now, where that would be, who knows?
That's right. That's the important question for Mike Schilt, Mike Maddox going forward. You know, the other reality is, Dan, that by having another starter, you have the advantage of minimizing some of the innings of your young pitchers too. Jack Flaherty throwing a lot of innings considering his AAA and big league season. Miles Michaelis. Does having a 5th or 6th or 7th starter help you keep their innings under control? But you balance that with the fact that I want to see Jack Flaherty as often as possible, and Miles Michaelis as often as possible, and Austin Gomber for that matter.
Harrison pops it up, foul territory. Matt Adams is there to make the catch. Cardinals did make the announcement today that Daniel Ponce de Leon will go on Wednesday, so you do push back everybody one day for some rest. Runners at first and second and 2 outs. Colin Moran got it started for the Pirates back in the second inning. The 2-out solo home run, his 9th of the year. Dickerson has picked up an RBI in this inning. First run batted in his last 21 games. So the 2-run homer by Marte. Statcast AI powered by AWS, and the home run hit by Moran.
Well, that was an off-speed delivery in the middle of the plate, was supposed to be in. Exit velocity 103.8, over 400 feet, and it looked like a groove swing. Looks like where Moran likes the ball.
0-2. 21 pitches in this inning. 1 pitch away from getting out of it. The 0-2 pitch, tapped foul. And the 0-2 to Moran, outside and high, 1-2. Cardinals have Bader, Kelly, Wainwright coming up, looking ahead to the home half of the third. 4-0 Pittsburgh, and the return of Adam Wainwright tonight.
Adams at the point right now where he's just not got enough on his fastball because it's diminished, that he's forced to throw a breaking ball almost every pitch. And if you're Moran at the plate, or the hitters before him, the 2 that got base hits, that's what they're looking for. And it's hard to throw sharp ones every single time, especially with a curveball, and either get a call strike or a swinging strike. And Adams kind of working with one hand tied behind his back right now until that fastball gets stronger.
2-2. Got to wonder if this is his final batter of the night, one way or another. He is due up third for the Cardinals at this point, trailing by 4.
I think it will be.
And you're dealing with a guy on the other side that has been red hot in Trevor Williams.
I know what the fans want. They want him to finish strong.
The 3-2 pitch. Runners go, and a ground ball. Wong to his left, and he'll make the play. 3 runs in the inning and a 4-0 Pittsburgh lead. Bader, Kelly, Wainwright due up. And Adam Wainwright, his spot. Now the Cardinals have sat down Tyson Ross. We had a shot of Wainwright during the commercial break. He was putting on batting gloves, so we'll see if indeed he does hit for himself. Now you get a couple of runners on, that may change the equation. We'll see.
A couple runners on, he could bunt too, but I will say this about Wainwright's batting. Dan told me earlier this week, he said he really hasn't been focused much on it, and understandably, he's just been trying to get his arm ready to go at this level, and he just hasn't spent a lot of time in the cage.
What are you seeing, by the way, with Trevor Williams that's making him so good?
Well, I started to notice this the last time we saw him pitch in Pittsburgh.
Bader drops down a bunt, do or die play, Moran, and he makes it.
And what I've seen from him, Dan, is, you know, he's not a guy that's known as being a strikeout pitcher, but he had a number of strikeouts in that game, and he's already had 3 in this game. I think he's learned to get swings and misses with what looks like I'm going to call it a running fastball. I mean, maybe a sailor. It goes like a cutter, but it more just darts away from right-handed batters, and it's his fastball, and you call it his four-seamer, but it just has a good run to it and good late movement to it, and I think that's a pitch that he's been successful with. He's thrown a number to Jose Martinez that we saw in Pittsburgh, and he threw him one here in this game, and I just think the ball disappears somehow from the batter's point of view.
Wainwright on deck, 1 ball and 1 strike. Little chopper left side.
So in the 80s, Dan, no one had ever heard the word cutter, but you would throw what we would call a running fastball. You'd actually just hold the ball off center and you throw it as hard as you can, and it would create a little bit of a run to it, a little sail to it. And if you're doing it at the right point just before the batter gets there, that pitch right there, it's just hard to square up. It's in the middle of the plate, and then it's running away from you. And at 91 miles an hour, this is a fastball, but it's got some up and away to it.
Strikeout of Kelly, and it brings in Wainwright.
Batting ninth, number 50, pitcher Adam Wainwright.
Williams now up to 20 consecutive scoreless innings. 4-0 our score, and the Cardinals looking for their first hit.
Now Adam said he hadn't worked much, Dan, on his hitting, but he did go on to say that it's a little bit like riding a bicycle.
Ever the optimist, huh?
Right. Well spoken, like a guy who has a career batting average over 200.
Sure.
For a pitcher, that's pretty good.
And a silver slugger. Here's a 1-1. Slowly hit, puts it in play. Moran bare hands and gets Wainwright. 9 up and 9 down. And a 9-pitch inning for Trevor Williams. 4-0 as we head to the 4th. Hospital and Washington University physicians, guardians of childhood. By Toyota, let's go places. And help create a world without cancer. Register now at pedalthecause.org. Well, the Cardinals going with another inning out of Adam Wainwright. We'll see how it goes. I would think, though, the leash has to be short.
Just going to say that, and I would frankly say a little surprised he's back out there, and I understand it. Still a bit surprised, but I think any sign of trouble, and they'll help him out. But I think really just hoping for the best here. I think everybody's hoping he can regain that form and be a factor. Again, if anybody can do it, it's Adam. He can figure out how to get people out, but that fastball at 87. Just again, I'm not a big velocity person only, Dan, but I think for a guy like Wainwright, it's just necessary.
It's a fair ball. Carpenter makes the play, and Mercer. First out here in the 4th. Now maybe part of the process. It's 8, 9, and 1.
Yes,
and coming back out.
Yep, 100%. Nice play on the backhand by Carpenter, who's been on that shuttle between first and third base with Jed Jerko out. Boy, it'd be nice to have him back.
Here's Trevor Williams, singled his first time up. Again, the pitch at 87. And the 0-1. One ball and 2 strikes. Hit to third again. Carpenter 2 away.
Waino's just trying to invent ways to get people out right now. This is not a sharp Adam Wainwright. That was a hanger again that was hit right at Carpenter, thankfully. And one thing about Adam, he will go to a plan B and then a plan C. He'll do whatever he needs to do to compete. He is an absolute competitor. I love that about him, and I think his teammates love that about him. He cares about winning. He cares about performing. Cares about his teammates.
Adam Frazier, we mentioned, swinging a hot bat. 0 for 2 tonight. He has struck out, flied out. Curveball, 1 ball, 1 strike. Hitting .347 since the All-Star break. 8th best in all of baseball. And a 1-1 pitch. Fly ball lifted to center. And a 1-2-3 9-pitch inning for Adam Wainwright. Cardinals still looking for their first hit. They trail 4-0.
And Gurr said he's not sure which day, but he told me we're progressing him as fast as we can while being safe. As for Jed Jerko dealing with a groin issue, he was sent home from Detroit with some swelling. Jed told me that the swelling is down. He did take some BP today. He's expected to make his return over the next day or two, Dan.
And Michael Wacha done for the year.
Yeah, basically, as Michael Gurr put it, he had that setback. He was scratched with oblique discomfort from that last rehab start, and he said basically we ran out of runway. There's just not enough time to get him ready, Dan.
And how about Rick Horton?
Rick Horton, he is fine. He sounds great, and I think he's given it 110%, Dan.
All right, Jimmy, thank you as always.
My pleasure.
So I'm starting to do when I work with you, I tag everything
I
with
like
you.
that, yeah.
Carpenter hits it out to deep right, and the Cardinals have their first hit. He's on his way to second base and sliding in with a double. His 40th double of the year.
You mentioned he's hit Trevor Williams well. That's his 8th hit. 3 of them home runs. This one not a home run because it had a little sinking line drive to it. Maybe a little more salsa. And it would have been 4-1.
Third time in his career he's had 40 or more doubles in a season. So second time through the lineup, and here's Jose Martinez. Matt Carpenter in 2013 had 55 doubles to break Stan the Man's all-time mark. And then in 2015 he had 44.
And as much as the man at the plate has been struggling, Jose Martinez, he's still top 10 National League.
Yeah.
He's got a shot at a batting title.
Get hot these final couple of weeks.
Could happen.
And Martinez, a base hit into right. And the Cardinals have something going now. Runners at the corners and nobody out. And the batter will be Matt Adams.
Last time Martinez was up, he struck out trying to pull the ball away and was talking to himself, Dan, all the way back to the dugout. And with his bat, he was going the other way, other way, other way. And next chance he gets to stand up at the plate, he does exactly that, puts it into practice, and keeps things going here for St. Louis. That's what self-coaching is. Coach can tell you that, but when you tell yourself, it's even better. When you can feel it.
Adams lined out first time up. And there's ball one. The 1-0 pitch. Adams rips it foul past Ali Marmol. Heads up, Ali.
He's pretty quick.
You bet. In a lot of ways.
Yes, he is. Smart baseball man. Big future in this game.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. At one point, Ali Marmol was the youngest manager in professional baseball. That's how quickly he rose through the Cardinals system. Was a minor league player, and Cardinals realized his great attention to detail, personal relationships. Smart guy. 2-1 pitch. Had him out in front, and it's 2-2. Marcell Ozuna on deck. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Matt Adams.
Our truck, Dan, found a short clip of what we were talking about with Jose Martinez talking to himself, saying, stay down on it, go the other way. Exactly what he did. And that's the coaching, the self-coaching we're talking about. Good job, truck, finding that.
Another 2-2 pitch. Strikeout of Adams. Couldn't hold up. It's 5 strikeouts for Trevor Williams as we take a look at the Chevy Fox tracks.
Well, Cervelli wanted to pitch up, and it was up, and Matt Adams couldn't lay off.
The batter will be Marcell Ozuna. Ozuna, one swing of the bat, gets the Cardinals right back in the game. Now with 21 home runs. On the year, Marcell, a .278 average, but hitting above 300 here at Busch Stadium.
A lot less lower half movement, a lot more confidence in his ability power wise because the shoulder feels better.
The 1-0. A ball and a strike. Pitch that was up. His eyes lit up.
Oh yeah. He saw a home run.
Yep.
it's up in the zone, I can handle that one. That was a big swing.
Just feel it right now. It's the bottom of the fourth, but Cardinals need a run in this inning.
Yes.
There's tension here at the ballpark. The Wainwright start. Only 19 games remaining. And the 1-1. Taken low, 2-1. Inning started with a double by Carpenter. Martinez a single, strikeout of Adams. The 2-1 pitch to Ozuna.
Our tension is mounted because the Cardinals played so well to put themselves in a position of being the second wild card, and a 3-3 road trip produces tension for us, where maybe in June we might be happy with a 3-3 road trip. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be wanting more. Of course we should, but the bar's higher now, and Mike Schilt wants it to be high. He's talking about winning championships, not being good.
A 3-1 pitch. Ozuna, base hit into left. Carpenter will score, and the Cardinals do indeed get on the board. It's now a 4-1 Pirates lead. That ball was smoked. That's 3 hits in the inning.
And now Williams has an ERA in September. First run he's given up. 21 plus, Danny. And he hung that one, and Ozuna wasn't going to miss it.
The tying run comes to the plate. Runners at first and second. Here's Paul DeYoung. He struck out back in the second inning. And DeYoung smokes it in the gap in left center. 1 run is in. Ozuna, he'll be waved in. Relay to the plate. DeYoung makes it a 4-3 Pittsburgh lead.
Paul DeYoung should be a big part of the Cardinals offense. He's had a down year for him after what we saw last year. Injury has a lot to do with it, but this is Paul DeYoung at his best. He's a gap hitter. He's going to run into some home runs, but that's a big time hit for the Cardinals. Yachty's happy about it, so are we. A 1-run game.
And a base hit could tie it up. They work on Colton Wong, something in his eye apparently. That's Adam Olson, the training staff. Williams had allowed 4 earned since the All-Star break, entering the ball game tonight, and he's given up 3 in this inning. Saw the diminished velocity with Wainwright. You now have pulled within 1, and you've got Marte, Bell, and Cervelli 2, 3, and 4 coming up. Got to wonder if it's in the back of Mike Schilt's mind to go to his pen.
It's in the front of mine, and you are obviously inside my brain, because that's exactly what I was thinking.
Hit the other way, deep in the hole, and everybody's safe. An infield hit for Colton Wong.
So everybody's got to be heads up on this play. It's probably going to be an infield hit, and you know that right about now. So if you're running to third, Paul DeYoung may know it, but it's up to Jose Oquendo to be pointing to the bag, saying on the bag, on the bag, on the bag. And that's Jose on the spot, as he always is. And Wong keeps things going even though he couldn't see. How about that?
How do you hit when you can't see?
I don't know. I wonder if that's a contact lens that's moving around.
Runners at the corners, and it'll be Harrison Bader at the plate.
trainers are very smart about helping with contact lenses because a lot of players wear them. And for anybody that wears them, I have worn them and do wear them occasionally, they can get lost. And you could try as hard as you want to find it, and it's helpful to have somebody that knows how to get that done for you.
And because of that, Williams just standing on the mound. I'm sure at some point he may play catch with Cervelli. Think about the at bat here for Bader. This has been one of the you know, I guess the things that they really have worked with Bader here in the second half, being an everyday player. Runner at third, less than 2 outs. The mindset of the at bat, pitch to pitch. What are they doing to you? What are you trying to do?
Yeah, and what you can't do is strike out. I mean, he runs well enough that he's probably not going to hit him in a double play. I don't think a push bunt's out of the question here for him, just to make sure he gets that runner home.
And Bader hits a fly ball out to Marte in right center. DeYoung, the runner at third, tags up to the plate. He'll score. We've got a new game. 4-4.
And that's a good at-bat from the smiling Harrison Bader that you wanted, Danny. Get the ball into the outfield. Situational hitting. We outlined some other options for him, but plan A really is to get the ball into the outfield and drive that run in.
The last 3 hitters have swung at the first pitch against Trevor Williams. Second time through a lineup, I'm sure part of the equation is, hey, don't fall behind, be aggressive.
And so that put away pitch that we talked about, he doesn't have a chance to get to it. You get him before he gets you.
So 2 outs, Wong the runner at first base, and a strike on Carson Kelly. Cardinals do have John Brebbia throwing in the Cardinal pen.
Cervelli's been very good throwing runners out at second base. And Wong getting some advice from Ali Marmol. Looked like he wanted to run on that last pitch, but I think you have to be careful here. Got a pitcher on the rope. Give Kelly a chance to swing the bat, maybe. And it'd be interesting if Kelly were to hit a double here, Dan. Do you pinch hit for Adam Wainwright?
Yes.
I think that's right.
Steven Brault is throwing in the Pittsburgh bullpen. Got to think he's getting ready for Carpenter. If you get to that spot, you might knock out Williams. It's always funny in September. I mean, even when guys are on a roll like Williams, quickly they can hit a wall.
Well, we've seen this with some of the young Cardinal starters, that they're going along with a good game. Gomber had one of these, Flaherty had one of these, and all of a sudden everything just fell through in one inning, where you get 4 or 5 hits in a row. It's bizarre how that happens.
And I think for some people that are questioning why Wainwright, well, that's a big reason. That's one of the answers, is that you're not starting somebody else here. Granted, 19 games left, but some of these guys may be hitting a wall, and the Cardinals are anticipating that, seeing that in previous starts.
Yeah, that's right.
And maybe buying themselves a game or a day off as Kelly hits it on a hop to second. Big inning for St. Louis. 5 hits, 4 runs, and a new game. We head to the 5th, and we're tied 4-4. Get the salsa out. Should be fun tonight. 4-4 our score. Pittsburgh and St. Louis on Fox Sports Midwest. top of 5. Jason Shreve has gotten up the lefty. And you've got Marte, Bell, and Cervelli, 2, 3, and 4 coming up. Rebbe has been up, Ross has been up, and now Shreve.
Yeah, this is going to be a short leash on Adam Wainwright. I'm sure of that. But nice that the Cardinals offense responded with that 4-run 4th inning against a guy who's been as good as anybody in the game since the All-Star break, Trevor Williams.
And the 0-1 pitch. Two strikes on Marte.
Location is going to be very important for Adam Wainwright now that he's dipped below 90. Cannot make a mistake in the middle of the plate.
That's out of play. That ball was, as you mentioned, middle of the plate and pretty hittable.
When you're at your best, mistakes hurt you sometimes, but when you're not at your best, they almost always hurt you. And I'm surprised he didn't jump on that one.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Marte, a ground ball.
Hurry.
Loved by DeYoung. Got him. Nice play. If he backhands that, I'm not sure he gets him, but by circling it, tough off balance throw, he gets him.
You don't think about a shortstop as a route runner, but he did make a good route on that, and he's done it 3 times in this game. If he doesn't circle it correctly and get a little bit of openness to be able to throw that ball slightly across his body, but with some power to it, over to Matt Adams, Marte beats that out.
Wainwright is retired the last 6. Four our score, and now Josh Bell 2 for 2 with a pair of singles. Strike 1. Carpenter moving to the right side of the infield. And a 0-1 pitch. Curveball. 1-1.
I was surprised to hear that the Cardinals are 26th in baseball in terms of shifting. Would have thought we'd be in the middle of the pack somewhere. I was surprised that the Cardinals do it less often than most.
Ground ball. Long. Out number 2. I think we've just gotten so used to seeing it with every team, and
yeah,
I bet the numbers would astonish folks how many times teams shift pitch after pitch. It's incredible.
I think Mike Schilt would agree with the philosophy of his predecessor Mike Matheny is that you shift with the numbers, but you use your eyes as well, and you use your brains. And there's a certain pitcher on the mound, I might do something slightly different even though the numbers say this. And you know, it's a combination. You know, I think Mike Schilt is being cornered into being a numbers guy, but he's not. That is not who he's a baseball guy. He's a gym rat in the baseball terminology, and I don't know what you call those guys. Is there a phrase for that?
Baseball rat.
Okay. That's what he is. And always has been. And so he's going to study the game. He reads about the game, but he doesn't only read numbers. Baseball rat.
1-1. And that swung on and missed by Cervelli. Well, you asked. I mean,
yeah, just don't call me one of those, please. Might be offended.
I get it. It is interesting, though, when you talk to him. He said, yeah, I've seen all the numbers, read all the analytics, and I use a little bit of that.
Yeah.
The eye test. What are others seeing? This is back to Wainwright, and a 1-2-3. Good for Adam Wainwright. baseball squirrel. That seems appropriate.
There you go.
Receive a replica 2013 NL Championship Mystery Player ring with a detachable base courtesy of Edward Jones. It's wearable, and you'll see some of the top players from that team on your ring. Looks like that'll be it. It will be it for Adam Wainwright, as he'll give the Cardinals 5 innings. And we're tied up 4-4. There were times when you looked at Wainwright tonight and you thought, this is, wow, great. And then there are other times you're thinking, uh-oh, he's on the ropes. But all said and done, 5 innings.
And he found out a way to retire the last 8 batters when he did not have his best stuff. And that's what pitching is. So good for him to get through it. I'm sure there were some anxious moments for everybody in that Cardinal dugout, and maybe even for Waino himself.
How about Greg Garcia? 8 for 14 against Williams.
Well, we talked about Wainwright needing to stay out of the middle of the plate, but that's something that Williams had been doing, Dan, up until last inning. And maybe he's lost his mojo a little bit.
The BP brighter picture with Matt Carpenter coming up. He got the first hit of the night for St. Louis. We're tied 4-4. Double and a run scored back in the 4th. That's ripped foul. And here it is, what we're talking about, that BP brighter picture. Carpenter runs batted in from the leadoff position in the National League, 56. He's got 77 on the year. They start to stretch again out in that bullpen of the Pirates. 0-1. Carpenter with a fly ball lifted out to left. Garcia tagging up, drawing a throw. And Matt is 1 for 3 on the night. Here's Jose Martinez. Single to right, run scored, and struck out. 1 for 2 on the night.
That's Brault and Neverauskas. Throws high 90s. Brault really been a serviceable left-hander as a starter, now reliever for Clint Hurdle. Of course, their closer, Felipe Vasquez, from the left side. The Cardinals have beaten up on him a couple of times this year, but he has been lights out.
Yep.
In the last couple of months. So we'd like to not have to see him at all this series, if that's okay.
He's had 21 consecutive saves coming into the series. You know who I ran into the other day? Andy Bennis.
Did you?
And when I was watching Wainwright, I was thinking of Andy Bennis back in the early 2000s. Runner goes. They'll avoid the double play. Remember, Andy Bennis was thought to be done. Came back, found a way to get people out to the point that the Cardinals tried to re-sign him, and he said, "I've had enough." He retired. And you know, Wainwright kind of in the same spot. You weren't sure what you're going to get, and he comes out and gives the Cardinals 5 innings tonight.
Andy came up with a new pitch, started to throw a little bit of a split and
learned
threw a little
from Chuck
cutter.
Finley.
Yeah, and was very helpful down the stretch. Well, you know, Adam Wainwright is going to give it effort, guts, and determination, and all three of those things were probably better than his stuff was tonight. But 5 innings, 4 runs, gave him a chance.
Wainwright's next potential start could be over the weekend. That would be Sunday Night Baseball. Here's an 0-1 pitch to Matt Adams. And you never know, the Cardinals may have seen something and said, hey, we prefer Wainwright, better velocity from what we saw in the first inning. He could be a guy that is a guy that could bridge the gap in the bullpen. Could be a starter.
And I don't know that anybody's going to know the answer to that until the Cardinals have one more look at Daniel Ponce de Leon as well. And we expect him to start this week.
Wednesday. So everybody else pushed back. Michaelis and Musgrove tomorrow. Ponce de Leon would go on Wednesday, and then away we go with Gomber and Flaherty and Gant. Pulled foul. It amazes me when guys get an inside pitch like that and they're able to turn on it that much.
Well, it's the only place you can hit it if you're way out in front and it's an off-speed delivery, and you're just hoping that your teammates are paying attention.
You know who could hit a pitch like that? Only guy I've really seen and keep it fair was Albert.
Yeah.
He had an unbelievable ability to do that. 1-2 pitch outside, and it's 2-2. Andy Bennis's son is playing for St. Louis University this year. Shane Bennis, grad student for Darren Hendrickson's club. Darren will throw BP occasionally here at the ballpark and has done a great job with the SLU program. 2-2 is pulled foul.
We talked about the Cardinals' ability to get to Trevor Williams, and the answer is because it's in the middle of the plate. That's Carpenter, 88 right down central. There's Ozuna, got the hanging breaking ball. That's the hit we were talking about earlier. And then Paul DeYoung came through in a pitch that was essentially middle as well. So why was Williams so good early and then have trouble in the fourth? Too many pitches in the middle of the plate.
A 2-2 pitch. Outside corner, strikes out Adams. Number 6 tonight. We're tied 4-4. How about that? 10-1 combined since August 9th with Gant, Flaherty, and Gomber.
We feel really good about all three of them in there. That's Ponce de Leon on the left, so maybe he's going to be added to that list as a young Cardinal starter who's been effective. And there's Gant behind, so all four of those guys are going to be the hopes for September, honestly. And they need to be what they've been the last 3 weeks, and Miles Michaelis on top of that. And that's kind of a pretty good 5-man rotation, and Wainwright, I guess questionably, could get some more starts as well. So we'll see where it goes, but Cardinals have such good young pitching and need a guy like Wainwright to lead them.
Chevy called to the pen. Chasen Shreve, 53rd appearance combined with the Yankees and St. Louis. 4-4 I score. We're in the top of the 6th. Corey Dickerson, Josh Harrison, and Colin Moran for the Pirates. Pittsburgh comes in at 71-71. And the Cardinals, if they can pick up a win tonight, win number 80. They'd go to 80-64. Thought it was interesting how you put it, where Mike Schilt says, yeah, we want to be good. Want to be a good team, but we want to be a championship team.
Right.
And you made me think about doing a speaking function tonight where I said, well, I was here about a month and a half ago and we were saying, well, we'd like to see the team get a little bit better, and Mike Schilt is here and some young players coming together, and we'll see it all unfolds and yada yada yada. And now it's, hey, pedal to the metal. The Cardinals think that they're going to postseason play.
Well, you have a chance to be, and of course the road trip wasn't as good as everybody had hoped it would be, but the Cardinals still a game ahead of LA, 3 games ahead of Arizona, 4.5 games ahead of Philadelphia in the wild card coming into play today. So you're still got a very good opportunity, very good chance to play at least something in October. And once you get in, Dan, who knows?
Who knows? We've seen that before.
Oh, yeah.
Reds with a 10-6 lead over the Dodgers. That's in the bottom of the 8th. Three and 2 the count. Milwaukee and Chicago tied 2-2 in the top of the 6th.
Boy, Chicago had a long weekend, didn't they?
Well, think about what they have to do too. After all the rain delays with Washington, they have an off day on Thursday. They have to go back to Washington, and there's talk that with the poor weather that's happening and hitting the East Coast, that game is in danger of being rained out. In the air, out to deep left. Ozuna with room and makes the catch. To answer your question, yes, it was a long weekend for those guys.
We don't feel bad for them. We're just pointing it out.
Absolutely. Reminder, MLB.tv, great way to catch the Cardinals in this stretch run. New prices, all the stats and highlights. Check out the Cardinals wherever you go. MLB.tv.
East Coast rain is why we saw Trevor Williams in this game. He was supposed to pitch yesterday, but the Pirates got rained out, and with that rain out, he got pushed back, and Musgrove, who was going to start today, will start tomorrow. I wasn't sure that was a good thing, as good as Williams has been, but the Cardinals found a way to get to him. Give him credit. I didn't see a squirrel anywhere. Maybe I saw some Wainwright support somewhere. Maybe that's what we saw. But they got it done. Now it's a bullpen game.
Here's an 0-1 pitch to Harrison. Sends it out to deep center. Bader back at the wall, and it's gone. It's a home run to make it a 5-4 Pittsburgh lead. Josh Harrison with home run number 8.
Harrison's had a lot of injuries this year, hamstring, other injuries, kept him out quite a bit. He hasn't played much as he normally does, but been an all-star, and he was right on that delivery.
See Shreve facing this lefty Moran, and then maybe going back to the bullpen. We'll see. Colin Moran, a home run back in the second. Ground ball softly hit to Carpenter. First time the Pirates have hit 3 homers in a game since August 9th. It's a span of 28 games. Dominic Leone ready to come in. And so Mike Schilt heads back to his pen. The home run hit by Harrison puts the Pirates back on top, and it's 5-4. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. By Ford, going further so you can. And by Sling TV, live TV you love, only better. Dominic Leone to face Jordy Mercer, top of the 6th, 2 outs and a 5-4 Pirates lead.
A lot of time for the Cardinals to come back. Leone has been, I would say, plus since returning from the DL, and with the kind of injury he had, you just didn't know what feel he would have by the end of the season, or would he have to wait till next year, and he wasn't sure either. Or Chevy called to the bullpen. Leone game number 23 for him, but 94 plenty fast enough. A nerve, Dan, when you have nerve issues, the nerve has to just, remember Danny Cox had that one year, and the doctors would say, well, it just has to regenerate, and we don't know how long. Just gotta wait.
Feeling in the fingertips an issue, grabbing the baseball. Broken bat and a single out to left. Kevin Kramer will be the pinch hitter for the Pirates after the single hit by Mercer to left field.
And we should congratulate Memphis for advancing in the PCL playoffs. Another come from behind victory, bottom of the 10th. And what amazes me about that series is if they're able to win another PCL championship, think of the guys in the Cardinals dugout right now who are going to be excited because they're going to get a ring. That's their team that's playing. But
starting
they're not
rotation
there.
is here.
That's right.
Patrick Wisdom,
Carson Kelly, Adolis Garcia.
I'd be curious. The Blue Jays are searching for a manager, and would they at least reach out for an interview with Stubby Clapp, who is from Canada? It's hard to ignore the success he's had over the last 2 years. Granted, very good players, major league players down in the minors, but with a depleted roster, he's still winning.
We've been told by the players it's because he has a system and players come up to the system, and it's clear what they do to play and win, and you know, there's a trick to communicating that and installing that.
A belief in it.
And the system sounds bureaucratic, and I don't mean it to sound that way. It's not like it's, but you still have to allow players to be themselves in the midst of that. But he's just established some lanes that just seem to be working, and expectations.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Kramer. 2 balls and no strikes. Cardinals will have Ozuna, DeYoung, and Wong, and Clint Hurdle will go back to his bullpen, looking ahead to the bottom of the 6th. Well, for Clint Hurdle, in a way, it becomes almost a 3-inning game with their outstanding closer they have left. The 2-0 pitch, 3-0. They're in the 9th now in Cincinnati, a 10-6 lead over the Dodgers. Milwaukee has picked up a run. One of the hottest teams in baseball, 3-2 at Wrigley over the Cubs. That's in the bottom of the 6th.
Probably confusing for some Cardinal fans, as many have asked the question, who do we root for, Milwaukee or Chicago? You're chasing Milwaukee and they're chasing Chicago. So I would say my answer would be whatever your conscience allows.
Either way, win your game. Things are better. And a walk. First walk of the ball game for either team. Our Budweiser What's on Tap, a look ahead to tomorrow. Joe Musgrove and Miles Michaelis in our Budweiser What's on Tap tomorrow at 6:30, our pregame show. Jim Hayes always with our news of the day and a live guest. Now Roboski will be with Scott Mormon. Those guys all do a terrific job on the pregame show. 2 outs and 2 on. Top of the lineup in Frazier. And the 1-0 pitch. Right now Leone can't find the strike zone. 2-0. Ten pitches, 3 strikes so far for Dominic Leone. And it is a base hit out to left. Bader's throw into second base, a run scores, and it's a 2-run lead now for the Pirates, 6-4. It's become a final in Cincinnati. Reds 10-6 over the Dodgers. So if the Cardinals can somehow come back and win this ball game, it's a 2-game lead with 18 to play for the wild card. Runners at the corners for Starling Marte. Popped a 2-run homer back in the 3rd. And strike 1. 3rd inning, our Nissan drive of the game in this home run. Marte, number 19. Hitting .343 with runners in scoring position. 11th best in baseball. John Brebbie up for the 2nd time as Marte makes it 0-2. the bearded one, John Brebbia, late September or mid-September. That beard, it's got a mind of its own. Probably its own Twitter account too. Swing and a miss and a strikeout for Dominic Leone. So the Pirates regain the lead. 6-4. Chevy called to the pen, appearance number 58 for Crick. Right-hander for the Pirates out of their pen, and the Cardinals have the middle of their lineup. Celebrate with number 13 and his teammates Thursday, September 13th. 20,000 fans 16 and older take home their very own September T-shirt of the month. It's designed by Fresh Brewed Teas, the Salsa Craze. Cardinals.com/promotions.
Well, the Cardinals bullpen is not off to a good start. Maybe we can hope for the same for the Pirates. Although Crick has been pretty nasty. We've seen him a few times. He's got a very good slider.
And Ozuna chops it to third. One away. Big hit for the Cardinals was in the fourth. Shortstop Paul DeYoung with a double that drove in two. And strike one. Jared Hughes, winning pitcher for the Reds, 10-6 over the Dodgers.
Think he ran in from the bullpen?
That's what he calls it. I like to refer to it as extreme hustle. Doesn't matter. I want the bullpen cards back anyway.
I love the bullpen cards. I miss them. They're around. They're making a comeback.
The guys don't want to use them.
That's true.
Mercer gets to Young. Since July 1st, the BJC Healthcare difference maker Colton Wong at the plate defensively all around. His game has been much better.
Well, the defense really always good for Colton, although early in his career he had trouble with easy plays. I think that would have been our narrative about Colton. I would say trouble, but more trouble with easy plays and would make some spectacular plays. Well, now he's just been steady. He's not jumpy at all with his hands. He trusts himself defensively, and the hands are now working on the offensive side.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. Nothing in 2. So Kyle Crick is strike away from having a 1-2-3, and you mentioned that slider. That previous pitch was nasty. There it is again. Sometimes with a right-hander you see it catch the back leg of Colton Wong. He's not one to move much.
You hear players say I couldn't hit it with a boat oar. You know that big
boat oar,
wide ending of a boat oar. You think, well, I could at least make some contact with it.
2-2.
Probably couldn't get a lot of bat speed working with a boat
Probably
oar.
not.
I wouldn't think.
Some guys, I think you could give them a broomstick and they go up and hit 300 though.
That's true.
And Wong sends a fly ball out to shallow center. Marte is there in a 1-2-3 inning for Crick. You can help. For details and to volunteer, visit missioncontinues.org. Here's Tyler Webb into the ball game to face Bell. Turn him around. Cervelli and the left-handed batting Corey Dickerson.
We like what we've seen from Tyler Webb. Not a lot of action really. He came up, then went back down, came up again, but seems like a guy that throws strikes. He's had some good appearances at the big league level as a Cardinal anyway. So again, no negative thoughts about him coming in at all in a close game and an important game.
And there's ball 1 to Bell. And let's take a look at his Hyundai pitch arsenal. 2 balls and no strikes.
A lot of fastballs, slider and changeup. I think he's a big, tall left-hander that uses his height well, but he's a bit of a short armor too. In his arm action, he picks his elbow up. He doesn't really bring his arm way back. He has his elbow back first, and that almost like a catcher would throw. And I think it aids in his deception.
Swinging on 3-0. Should tell you the way that they think Bell is going right now.
Well, the Pirates have won 5 straight, so they're feeling it in general. And there's an old baseball adage: you hate to play somebody in September that doesn't have anything to lose.
3-2. Plaza Tire Service, Fox Tracks. Cardinals have Bader, Kelly, Webb spot coming up. There's something not to be overlooked in this lineup. Cardinals really are missing the presence of Molina and Jed Jerko. It's been a big miss the last week.
Yeah, I think Jerko for even longer, obviously, than Yadi's been out. But Yadi you miss for a lot of reasons. What he does behind the plate and leading the team, just his presence on the field, I think it means something.
From 3-0 to out number 1. Wong with the catch.
Watching the 2-0 while your friends go for the steal? We understand. Great Southern Bank. We're fans too.
That at bat for Josh Bell was as if somebody said, I'll bet you no matter how much money it is, there's no way you can walk this time. And I don't care what happens. I'll give you $100 if you don't walk this time. He was not going to walk, Danny, if his life depended on it.
And he did.
3-1 pitch over his head. Not going to do it.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Cervelli outside. I think if you would have said to Cardinal fans, Adam Wainwright's going to give you 5 innings and you're going to walk away tied in the ball game, they would have taken that.
Yeah.
Now, was it vintage Adam Wainwright? No. But did you have a chance to win after 5 innings? The question being answered yes.
Was it good theater at the ballpark?
Yeah. Now going forward, what did the Cardinals see? What did they do? And a strikeout of Cervelli for out number 2. It's a very tough question to answer at this point.
Well, again, I think Ponce de Leon's start might change how you think about that. It could. And, you know, all managers would love to say, you know, don't force me to make a decision before I have to. So Mike Schultz not going to have an answer to that question after this game. I'm almost sure of that. Unless there's something predetermined in his mind for other reasons. But I think they're going to want to evaluate how he feels tomorrow, how his bullpen is, how Ponce de Leon is, how the rest of the team's set up. A lot of things to consider when you're managing a big league team. 6-4 Pirates.
1 for 4 with a 2-run homer. Wainwright, 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, all were earned, 3 strikeouts. And Paul DeYoung, who's driven in 2. Richard Rodriguez in our Chevy call to the pen.
They've got a couple of rookie right-handers that have just been good in their bullpen. Santana's one, Rodriguez is one, and they've just been matching each other pitch for pitch all year. 2.7 ERA, 53 games for Rodriguez. Cardinals have seen him a few times. Going to have to get to somebody. Why not now?
Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Bader with a sac fly and an RBI back in the 4th inning. That tied it up at that point 4-4. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Carson Kelly on deck. Then Webb spot. The 1-2 pitch. 2-2.
The Cardinals fought back once, Danny. They're going to have to do it again.
Full count. Bader's on base percentage leading off an inning is .406 and trying to add to that.
Yeah, take a walk right here. Get his speed on the bases. Oh.
Want to buy or sell tickets at the last minute? Get the StubHub app and you can grab 100% MLB verified tickets up until the first pitch. Sell your extras to another fan. Get the StubHub app today. StubHub, official partner of the Cardinals.
Harrison will be upset with himself when he sees that that would have been a ball 4 and would have been a walk, would have been a base runner.
Here's Kelly with Patrick Wisdom on deck. One ball and 1 strike. Kelly is struck out and grounded out 0 for 2. Harrison going out, makes the catch, and there's 2 away. Here's Patrick Wisdom with 2 outs. Strike 1 to Wisdom. John Brebbia getting set for the 8th inning. And again, it's worth bringing up the point. You're running out of outs, in particular when you think about the closer of the Pirates, who comes into this series with 21 consecutive saves and can be dominant along the way. And the 0-2 pitch. 1-2.
Well, if we do see him, I think what we should do is remind him. Somebody make sure you get a note to him and remind him of the 31st of May.
Cardinals got to him
in a big way.
They did it a couple of times this year.
But that was early. That was then, and this is now.
Strikeout of Wisdom. The Cardinals go quietly in the home half of the 7th. 6-4 Pittsburgh. 5-4 our score. Or Chevy called to the pen. 37 appearances with the big league club. And now it's time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. How did the Pirates take the lead? We go back to a tie game, 4-4 in the 6th, and a home run hit by Harrison. And they would add one more after that.
Usually it's the Cardinals flexing their muscles, hitting home runs. Only the Dodgers in the National League with more home runs than the Cardinals. The one thing that you could say about the Pirates is they have played very well. You mentioned it earlier in the division. Really good against the Central Division. They've got the best record in the division of all teams, including the Cardinals, the Cubs, and Milwaukee. Ten games over 500.
And there's a swing and a miss by Harrison.
Bought enough food for the entire section? We understand. Great Southern Bank. We're fans too.
So having brought that up, you wonder, well, where were the deficiencies for the Pirates?
Right. In the West.
12-21 against the National League West.
Don't go west, young man.
Interleague play next year will be the American League West. And the return of Albert Pujols to St. Louis. Here's Colin Moran. It's a good looking beard there. And I guess it's good looking there.
Just getting this flashback of just two people playing rounders in the Civil War. You've got General Doubleday pitching, and you've got some corporal at the plate. And that's what they look like to me. They look like Civil War generals.
Who was at Christian Family Day a few years ago?
The Duck Dynasty guy.
Yeah. Willie.
Willie
was up here in the booth, and Willie Robertson, and well, that was a couple of innings to remember the rest of your life. Right up there with Meatloaf. The 2-2 pitch. And a base hit into left.
Did you call him Mr. Loaf, or what did you call him?
I said that. Do I call you meat or loaf? And I kid you not, I said, you know, if the Cardinals win today, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And it went right over his head.
He didn't get it?
No. I thought, all right, have a great concert at Six Flags. Runner at first and 1 out, and Jordy Mercer will be the batter. Runner goes, and a hit and run hit out of play. It went right over his head. You would have gotten that.
Of course I would have. I guess he was just focused. I don't know.
He was locked in.
Dan, on the last road trip, we noticed at a couple of ballparks how quiet it was. I'm feeling that way at the moment here at Busch Stadium. A little nervous, perhaps, this crowd.
Runner goes again, fouled back. You mentioned it, a team that has really nothing to play for, can let it rip. Starting the runner here And Clint Hurdle's not one that does that all that much.
No.
So 1 out, runner at first, and an 0-2 pitch to Jordy Mercer.
So when a pitcher starts his motion and time is called and you're not sure if he's going to stop, everybody just gets out of dodge. Mercer ran all the way back towards the Pirates dugout, and the umpire said, I'm not staying here. Time. Whoa, get out of the way.
Here's an 0-2 pitch to Jordy Mercer. Fouled back. I will say, though, the interview with Meatloaf was intriguing. And Willie Robertson was interesting, too.
You have interviewed quite a few people.
We're going to have Mike Yo on tomorrow, the Blues head coach.
You ever interviewed Nelly?
You interviewed Nelly. I did not.
That's why I brought it up.
Of course you did. I've seen the pictures. Was that your favorite?
Yes. By a long shot.
Mm-hmm. Long look by Brebbia, and a double play ball. 6-4-3 on the double play. Bottom of the 8th rolls in when we come back. Francisco Pena is signing autographs for fans 15 and under. Greg Matthews, David Green will sign for fans of all ages at the Budweiser Terrace at Busch Stadium. Visit Cardinals.com/promotions.
Ken Oberkfell at the ballpark tonight signing autographs. Had a chance to visit with him. One of the best fielding third basemen.
How about that infield of 1982? Oh. Oberkfell, Ozzie, Hernandez. Woo.
Unbelievable.
Here's Edgar Santana.
There's the other one. I told you we'd see two of them. Two rookies, both from the Dominican, both having big years.
65th outing for Santana, and that leads a team.
You know, Dan, I absolutely love listening to you broadcast Cardinal games, and I get to do it from about 2 feet away from you.
Yes, sir.
Everybody else has to, you know, they turn on their TV and but they're not as close to you as I get to hear you. You know, my favorite thing that you say is when you say Grand Slammer.
Well, nobody's on, Rick.
When's the last time you got to say that?
Been a while.
It's been too long, is my point.
Yachty had one in D.C., but I did not say slammer. I just stayed with the slam. I didn't go slammer. They said slam.
Oh, I would have been disappointed.
But I was excited.
Yeah, well, but I like the slammer.
So that's you're trying to get it going here.
I think you should get one ready.
If it happens, adjust your sets.
Okay. Well, if it doesn't happen after we go off the air, I'd still like to hear you say it.
So I'll call you.
All right.
On the way home.
You will too. Bud Norris, Carlos Martinez getting loose.
A pitch down and into Carpenter. Been trying to think of my favorite interviews over the years. Three-two pitch to Carpenter, and it's a leadoff walk. I like it when you get folks in the booth really excited about what they come in to talk about. So, tell us about your event. Sounds like it's going to be great. Tell me all about it.
It's Saturday.
Sorry. Really? Who's involved? Yeah, we got a few people. Where is it at? And let me fumble through my notes. Yeah, no, that's okay. In the meanwhile, ball, and the inning never stops.
I think Mike Yo is going to know the answer to all of your questions tomorrow, and he will be on it. He will be on it. He'll have a lot to say.
Put some pressure on him before he gets in here.
Oh, I think he's used to pressure.
Be no problem for him. Tying run at the plate. Jose Martinez rips it foul. What if you're Clint Hurdle and you're playing spoiler? This inning gets dangerous. Do you go to your closer early? Try to slam the coffin on game one against the Cardinals.
You could go to your closer early, and then you still have to get outs in the ninth. I understand the go to your closer early conversation, but you can't have that conversation without answering the question, who's getting the outs of the ninth? That's why most managers won't do that.
I'd like to manage against you, Ricky.
I think it'd be great.
Famous Tony La Russa line. 1-1. Base hit. Right center. Carpenter to second. And on his way to third. The throw offline. And here come the Redbirds. People ask me sometimes, hey, what's your favorite call? And I'll tell you one of them. Do it yourself, big man. With one Matt Adams a few years ago in Cincinnati. And he's coming up. First to third. You love seeing this.
Oh, I love this. And the Cardinals are doing that much more often. And honestly, a lot of times the throw's not even going to come to third because they don't want another runner in scoring position. But in this case, Carpenter gets there. Adolis Garcia, the pinch runner for Martinez. Big speed at first. Big city at the plate.
Wild pitch. And Garcia to second base. And a base hit could tie it. The go-ahead run at the plate. By the way, Jose Martinez, 19 hits against Pittsburgh this season. Second most in baseball behind Jason Hayward. And they've got activity in their pen. I don't believe the closer is up.
Steven Brault, the left-hander. Dovydas Neverauskas, the right-hander.
The tying runs at second and third. A shift on the infield for Adams. Ahead in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. 2-0.
Should point out good judgment on Matt Carpenter not trying to score on the last wild pitch, and here is almost another one as it doesn't stick in the glove of Cervelli, but the ball came off the back of the screen behind home plate, the brick part, and right back to the catcher. Carpenter would have been out.
2-0 pitch. 2-1.
Took a little off. Adams out front.
Adams, a drive, deep right, at the wall. Do it yourself, big man. Do it. 3-run homer. Matt Adams. Yes.
Not quite a grand slammer, but I'll take it. Big city, big fly. And the Cardinals take the lead in the 8th.
Their first lead. Adams, first home run back in St. Louis at Busch Stadium. Love it. Love it. The Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. What a moment for Matt Adams. 3-run homer, and the Cardinals have their first lead of the night. Neverauskas and still nobody out.
Neverauskas was very good for them a season ago, Dan. High 90s fastball, but they sent him back to AAA. They thought he needed to recover a bit. They needed to kind of get more refined as a reliever. But he's got big league stuff. There's no question about that.
Line drive and a base hit into center by Ozuna. I would have given you Grand Slammer, but I told you I love do it yourself, big man.
Well, I'd take either one of them. I like them both.
I get it. That ball, by the way, crushed by Adams.
Oh, yeah.
So runner at first, and now Paul DeYoung, who is driven in 2.
When he hits one, he's got that old school big guy home run power type swing. It's just talk about launch angle. He launched that one.
The 2 he hit in Washington, the second one especially. DeYoung, a ground ball hit to third. Only play across the diamond and the out.
So what does a big time home run hitter look like from the side? Weight transfer, but it still stays back. The power comes from the backside. Good bat speed and the launch angle, and the crowd having a big moment here at Busch Stadium. He's still excited. I can tell he's still feeling it.
Gotten to know Matt pretty well on and off the field. And I can tell you, Rick, as you know, he is so excited to be back in St. Louis.
Oh, yes.
Never wanted to leave. And a wild pitch. Ozuna to third, and safe. Slides to the outside portion of the bag. And now the Pirates have to draw the infield in, and the Cardinals looking for some insurance.
Cervelli's had a hard time with the pitchers this inning. I think he was crossed up there, and it results in Marcell Ozuna being safe at third.
Boy, Cervelli's had a tough inning.
This would be a big run if you could pick up another one here.
Here's a 1-0. Wong held up. The 2-1 pitch. 3-1. This is one of the guys, especially with a right-hander on the mound, you want at the plate.
Yeah, you do, and you want him to swing at a 3-1 if it's close, and you want him to try to get the ball to the outfield.
Outside, and runners at the corners. Here's Bader now with runners at first and third and 1 out. Well, they're playing double play depth. It would have to be a hard hit ball up the middle for that to happen with his speed.
I understand you have to do it if you're the Pirates. You have to hope for that. But the way Bader runs, you're absolutely right. He'd have to hit a bullet right at somebody, and probably not to a corner infielder. Corner infielder should be thinking about coming home.
Here's a 1-0. And Bader sends a fly ball into right.
Do you catch it?
Catch is made. Ozuna tagging up, and he'll score. A 2-run lead for the Cardinals. And a great point made by my partner. Do you catch it? And I was thinking at the time, there's no way with Ozuna running are you going to catch him tagging up.
Well, he's got to make the decision. Nobody to help him. He had to have thought about it beforehand, and the throw is not a strong one and not in time. And so do you take the out, or do you give up the run? Pirates are going to appeal that Ozuna left too soon at third base.
Safe.
Is that what he said?
You got to get the excitement of it.
I got amped up hearing you say that. I was kind of in a lull, and you said that, and I'm excited again.
Fired up after the Adams home run. Everything's big.
What did he say?
Safe. Not safe. Safe. 2 outs and a runner at second. Here's Carson Kelly, and a ground ball that's hit to short. Mercer makes the play, but a big inning for the Cardinals. They pick up 4. 3 of the 4. 1 swing of the bat. Do it yourself, big man. Fired up back in St. Louis, and it's 8-6 Redbirds. Made it 7-6, and then Bader a sac fly and an RBI. Now 8-6, and our Chevy called to the bullpen. Mike Schultz saying after the game yesterday that for the time being Carlos Martinez will be at the back end of games, and so far so good with Carlos coming out of the pen. In right field, Adolis Garcia. Jairo Munoz is at third base, and Carpenter shifting from third to first, and there are your changes for St. Louis. If the Cardinals hold on, the Dodgers lost tonight against Cincinnati. St. Louis would go to 2 in front for the final wild card spot with 18 to go.
And Arizona's trailing in Colorado.
I like the idea that Carlos Martinez comes to the ballpark and has a chance to compete every day.
He appears to be liking it.
Ground
Seems to be
ball.
thriving on it, Dan. I like his command better, at least in the games I've seen so far. He's attacking the strike zone. He knows he's not going to be out there very long, and he just kind of, here it is, hit it. You know, he's been in relief before, so it's not fully new to him.
And he's got that in his back pocket when he wants it. 97. He hit 98 over the weekend. Seems to be fine. Ricky going back to back too. Backs up, just missed. 3-2. We talk about it a lot. Late innings, no walks.
Well, the durability you just mentioned, being able to go back to back, is important. That was a correct call.
Struck him out.
Three and two. I'm going to throw it right down the middle. See if you can hit it.
How about that shot right there? Molina, Wainwright, Willie. 3 great Cardinals.
All 3 of them have coached in some way tonight.
There's strike 1 to Adam Frazier, top of the lineup. The 0-1 pitch. Make it 0-2. A little bit high, and it's 1-2. The next by Martinez. Up the middle, DeYoung to his left, and it gets by Carpenter. And it's in the Cardinal dugout, so take away that potential of a game-ending double play with Frazier now at second base and the tying run coming to the plate.
This looks like it's going to be out number 2. DeYoung gets to it, but the off-balance throw is low, and Carpenter can't come up with it.
It's a base hit and an error on DeYoung. 1 out, tying run at the plate. Sometimes you notice Martinez gets underneath that slider. He's done that a couple of times here. Marte, a 2-run homer earlier tonight. And the 1-0 pitch by Martinez. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the 1-1 pitch to Starling Marte, up and in.
With that error really does change this inning, doesn't it?
Sure does. Well, you think about, you know, a guy like Marte doesn't hit into a ton of double plays, but when he does, it's a hard hit ball. It's the potential of that, potential of a game ender. Now you're talking about potential of the game being tied with a home run. Everything's so crucial here down the stretch.
But that's what makes it interesting, Dan. That's why the fans get excited as they do.
A .429 average against Martinez. The 2-2. And a big pitch here. (3-2). Marte pulls it foul. (3-2) again. Strike him out. 2 away. Changeup. The bottom dropped out of it.
Got a lot of weapons, doesn't he?
Woo.
Use the right ones here.
Now Josh Bell, 2 outs, runner at second. And ball 1. Against Carlos Martinez, 0 for 12, 5 strikeouts. Bell, a fly ball. Deep left, Ozuna back, and it's off the wall. It stays in the ballpark. A run will score, and Bell winds up at second base to make it 8-7. Just a few feet away from tying this game up.
I thought he did. I thought he got that one on the nose and deep left center field. And he finally squares up. Carlos, I think he thought that was gone about halfway up the wall.
That's Reyes, the pinch runner. You have first base open. Cervelli here on deck. Dickerson, who is 1 for 4, couple of strikeouts against Martinez. Pitch count, keep in mind, hasn't been stretched out, so his pitch count's at 20. He had to pitch yesterday. It's been used a lot. Just something to keep in mind. And it is taken by the shortstop DeYoung, and out at first. Unbelievable play to end this game. The fireworks going off. The Pirates certainly will challenge, and we'll see if indeed this game is over.
Well, I thought he was safe to the naked eye, but what a play by DeYoung either way. An incredible play, and here it is at first base. Is he out? I think he's out. I think he is out. What a play that was.
I'm going to show it here momentarily on the video board.
Oh my goodness.
What a way to end it if indeed this is it.
Well, it's a great play regardless.
Saves a run. DeYoung kept it on the infield. Cardinals still out. Now they're showing the video replay to the crowd. Crowd thinks he's out. And the call is out. And the game is over. And the Cardinals win it. You want drama in September? Boy, you got it. Our Budweiser play of the game, Matt Adams with this drive. And the Cardinals would add on another run there. They needed it. That insurance run was big, and the Cardinals pick up a win here in game one. LA loses, the Cardinals win, so now they're 2 in front.
What a great way to start a homestand. Big city with the big moment, and the Cardinals hang on in the ninth.
Catch your breath. Game 2 tomorrow. A lot of fun here at the ballpark tonight. Post-game show next.